Welcome back for the last time of season two, episode 39 of the Main Stand podcast. We've got the Blue Boy, we've got Josh, we've got myself, Mitch, back for the last time of season two, boys. We all know how Pat's feeling, but Josh, how we doing?
Not bad. This weekend was pretty good, even though I had to follow Pat around on Saturday. I had a good time. Excited the season's kind of over. Take a little break here and rejuvenate for next year. But Pat, I'm just gonna give Pat his glory and let him go.
Champions of Europe, baby. We finally did it. I am just so happy. This season was unreal, and the Champions League final was awful to be a part of because I was so scared for 90 full minutes. But we did it, man. City were all right. Inter impressed me, but that man Rodri, I've been saying it all season. He has been that guy. Winning UCL player of the season immediately after scoring the game winner in the final, a banger against Bayern. Good performance after good performance after good performance. There's never going to be an episode where I don't say something good about Rodri, I think, and the final just like encapsulated all of the good that he's done this season. A game winner in a Champions League final when things are as tense as they were. That was just an unreal moment for me. It's just euphoric. It was euphoric that the feeling of seeing City win that Champions League, complete that treble, was something that I am going to strive to feel again for the rest of my life. That was one of the best days ever. Um, just a quick touch on the remainder of the game. De Bruyne getting injured was really unfortunate, but
Mm,
Foden came in and played really well. If he had scored on that turn, I think I would have run through a fucking wall. Uh, Diaz and Ederson probably tied for man of the match for me. I thought Ederson was immense. He made save after save after save. It's like the opposite of what you expect from Ederson normally. And Ruben Diaz put in like an all timer performance. He was like 100% for tackles. He had like high 90s passing accuracy. He was never dribbled by. Lots of zeros when it comes to players trying to take him on. Um, and John Stones played unbelievable in the midfield. Made the UCL team of the season in center mid. His transformation over the course of this season was something incredible to behold. He's actually one of the best midfielders in Europe, and he's a center back. So I just another guy. I just so many guys in the City team I think really deserved this moment. Jack Grealish, just it. You can say what you want about City as an establishment. Like I don't care if you dislike Jack Grealish, you dislike fun, and you just dislike like non-robotic footballers. The emotion that he put on in all of his post-match stuff, the fun that he was having in the parade, after the game, in the locker room for the celebrations. Grealish is the most likable character in world football, and if you don't like Jack Grealish, I think you're a fucking dweeb. And that's all I have to say about him. Just, I got a lot of happiness in me, a lot of happiness. City completed the treble. City have cemented themselves in history, one of the 8 teams now to do a treble. Second English team. United can take their 99 and they can shove it. We're better. Best Premier League side in history, and there's just no denying it anymore. You can't take away from the greatness that is this City team. Um, and just what a season, man, what a season for me. I got to see this team live too. That's another thing I'm just never quite gonna get over is being able to. I witnessed this team, this historical 11, this historical side. I saw them play live with my own two eyes. So that's it. That's it. I'm done. No more City chat. At least like that for like 3 or 4 months. So but overall tournament as a whole, I guess I'll let you leave this to you guys. You are the neutrals. I think no matter how I try and put it, it will always be a really special Champions League for me personally.
yeah.
But as neutrals, as people who were involved, but maybe you fell out pretty early. You weren't really there. How did this tournament feel for you guys from like a year point of view, more of a neutral point of view? I think probably it wasn't super crazy. There weren't really any upsets aside from AC Milan beating Napoli.
Yeah.
And maybe Inter beating Benfica, but I think that tie was pretty 50-50 for who would win. But what would you guys think about the tournament overall?
I thought it was a little bit stale. Kind of like what you were saying. I think the draw wasn't the best kind of throughout. I don't think anyone was happy with the Milan derby in the semifinal.
No.
I think that kind of took a lot of the excitement out of it. And the final as well. Obviously, Pat's always going to see that game and the day in general as a highlight of not only Man City, but his entire soccer fandom. I think we're on a run now of kind of bad finals. I think we have 5 finals in a row. 4 of them were 1-0, and the Liverpool-Tottenham game was 2-0. Still notably one of the worst games in Champions League final history. So we're on a pretty historic run of like not really exciting finals. And just to add a little bit on the game too, Inter were kind of there knocking. It would have been interesting had like Lukaku made more of that chance at the end, the one where he was kind of the deflector. I think someone had shot it, hit him in the back of the calf or whatever. It would have been interesting to see how Inter would have managed like an extra time. We were kind of robbed of that, and I do think this final could have maybe delivered or over-delivered on expectations because people had pretty low expectations going in, I would say. But it didn't. City kind of won, which was the expected result. I think overall, with City winning and just the build-up to the final we had, it is a little bit of an underwhelming Champions League, but we have next year to look forward to and a new format coming soon as well. So.
Yeah, we've definitely had better groups and draws over the last 3 years, I'd say. Moving through the tournament as a whole, I felt like it was a little like straightforward, kind of easy to look at. Nothing too crazy. And then I mean Lukaku in that final just making his 7th outstanding save of his career. The man stands still in the fucking box as a blocker. He's playing like an NHL defenseman, and it's not working. I thought Inter did put up a good fight and made it exciting as a game, but all in all, City, I think, earned it and deserved it after the season they had, for sure.
Yeah, it did feel just like destined at the end. You got through your tough games. I think City's run out of anyone's probably was the most exciting.
It was crazy.
Not just because they won, but like the matchups you had too, Bayern, Real Madrid. Obviously a final, even though it's against Inter. You definitely probably had the most enjoyable run out of any other team. Yeah. So you always have that. It just wasn't probably the most invigorating final. I do think it helped with me and Pat being there, especially having a couple beverages in us as well. The game seemed a little bit better, but
couple's an understatement. But
but yeah, I mean Pat gets to just live like the day of his life. I love the Jack Grealish stuff. What a guy. I'm surprised. I don't know how he turned up for England today. But yeah, I loved watching it.
I saw this funny ass tweet. I wish I could credit the person that made it, but they tweeted The Hangover 4, but it's just Calvin Phillips, Phil Foden, and John Stones trying to get Jack Grealish to turn up to England training.
That's great. That is great.
It's great to see. I've been on the Jack Grealish bandwagon since like 2013. Like, it feels like I've been following that man and his large calves for way too long, and it's good to see him kind of come out after, I wouldn't say like a lackluster first season in City Blue.
I would.
But it definitely took him some time to grow into it, and it's good to see him finding his success now.
All we had to do was bin off that little Portuguese rat that was taking up his side of the pitch, and he turned into the player we all knew he was.
Also, Pat, you were saying it quite a bit on Saturday, so just to refresh the people, do you have anything to say to the United fans now?
Do one. United, fuck off. Champions of Europe, we can sing that. Your trouble is fucking whatever. It's fairy dust. Fucking who gives a shit. 1999. Shut the hell up. Get it the hell out of here. You enjoy it. Yo, you did it first. Who fucking cares? Ours was better. far more impressive, way better team. We'd run circles around Sir Alex Ferguson's fucking 4-4-2, no innovation. Get the hell out of here. This City team is the greatest team the Premier League has ever produced. You can do one if you disagree. Debate with a wall, because you're not going to debate with me.
Couldn't have put it better myself. I also do want to shout out the photographer at the zoo who got all of the nice shots of Pat. You can follow him on Instagram, John Duncan 4332. Got some just hysterical photos of Pat's anxiety and celebrations.
Oh yeah, you got to see every emotion I went through in the last 5 minutes of the game.
It's every emotion humans can go through, honestly.
All of them, except despair. There was no sadness, which was really happy. I was really happy about that.
It was overall a good day. It was fun to watch Pat just like soak it in, really.
That was crazy. That was one of the craziest days of my life.
The only bit of Pat I got was calling you back to bring your phone back because he forgot it in your car.
Yeah, I was surprisingly not as hungover as I thought I was going to be the morning after, which was cool.
Pretty impressive, honestly.
I'm proud of myself. Ooh, that was a good yawn.
Professionalism. You're already on to next year, the day after.
Exactly. Me and Jack Grealish.
Any final comments on the Champions League, Pat?
Going to be the first English team to win it twice in a row.
Are you going to buy a jersey right off? With the new
I might.
patch?
They're doing treble kits for this year's home kit that I might get.
You absolutely need the new patch. Just the with the UCL with 1 on it. I mean, that's going to be iconic for you.
They don't put a 1. They just put the trophy with no like thing. I think it's just the trophy for your first one, and then they start.
Oh, really?
Numbers.
I didn't know that. For some reason, did they put zeros on people, or just no? Is it just the logo?
No. Just the UCL logo. I think if you've won it, you get a trophy.
It'd be slightly more embarrassing if it said 0. I think that'd be kind of funny.
Yeah. The memes that you could get out of that were brutal. But now City are doing like a commemorative treble kit for the new one with the old kit, like the center badge. It's got like gold trim around the badge, and it says 22-23 treble winners, and then it's got the UCL winners patch on the arm, and then something else for the FA Cup. So I might pick one of those up just to really commemorate the season. Maybe even like frame it or some shit. Not wear it.
Yep. All right, with the UCL talk done, we'll move right into our, I guess, mini award show. We basically have 5 kind of Premier League season awards. Pretty basic ones, I would say, but we'll have some nice discourse here for the next few minutes or so to kind of wrap up the Main Stand Season 2. So we'll go ahead and we'll kick it off with do you want to kick it off with the big one or start small?
We can want to go top to or bottom to top.
Yeah,
we'll end with the big one. We'll end with probably the big 2.
Yep. So first one, we're going to go moment of the year. This could be really anything. I think the interpretation is pretty free on this one. We'll start with Mitch. Why don't you go first?
Yeah, I have one, and then I have like a little honorable mention. I think personally, my favorite moment this year was Bobby's goal in his last appearance for the Reds. Honestly, like what a way to end his career in Liverpool. It's heartbreaking to see him go, but it's such an iconic Bobby moment to come on and score a goal. Just brings life into the team every time he steps on the pitch. So that would be mine. And then my honorable mention was the clash of Tuchel and Conte, because it seems like it was fucking eons ago.
Yeah.
I think that really set a really solid precedent at the beginning of the year of how tooth and nail it was going to be throughout the table up until the end. It was a fun moment for me.
Yeah, I think for me too. I stayed in the Liverpool route. I guess you could kind of summarize this as the end of the Tottenham game, the 4-3, where Richarlison just got done celebrating his goal, and then Jota goes down and scores like 30 seconds later. Crowd goes wild, and Jurgen almost tears his hamstring running and celebrating in the face of the 4th official. Just that 30 seconds of chaos, I think, just described Liverpool's season so perfectly. And then honorable mention would be, I think, Salah's turn on Cancelo. That was probably my favorite goal of the season. So, it literally was. It was early enough in the season where it still felt like it mattered. So that was a big one for me. But
I wonder what mine is. It's Brentford. No, my moment is obviously City winning the Champions League, the treble, this whole season. My moment is the final whistle of the Champions League final. That's all of the emotion could just be let out for me there. Honorable mentions though for real are Brighton getting into Europe. I think that's just a really big thing for a team like Brighton. The football they play is really good. The like in and out nature of the club with the managers and the players being able to like rebuild that and get Europe was a really big deal. And then West Ham winning the Conference League. English teams going 2-for-2 in European finals this year. That's really cool to see. Declan Rice kind of getting to potentially send off his club with a European honor. Major enough, I don't know, for a club like West Ham. That's a really big deal. So that was cool.
More trophies than Tottenham.
And it's true. West Ham have officially won more trophies than Tottenham.
Yeah.
In their whole Premier League history, unless you count their Audi Cup.
I think it's their first West Ham's first trophy in like 52 years, so pretty good day for their fans.
It's a huge deal. Yeah, it's a really big deal for them, so that was cool, especially with how poor their season was overall. I think that's just it's a cool moment.
Yeah, and in the next category, I'll go first because I didn't write this down, but it was kind of on the fringe for me. I think West Ham were a surprise, both in the Premier League and in Europe. In a sense,
category. The category is surprise of the season, by the way, everybody. Josh just started saying his winner before we talked about what the award is.
True. I jumped the gun a little bit on that. But West Ham, I think, were a surprise in the Prem. I think I had them pretty high. I think I had them like 6 in the Prem. They were a relegation candidate all season. And then in Europe, they go on and win the Conference League final, which I think I would have expected it to be the other way around. So I think they were surprising in both aspects there for me. And then on a player front, I had Fabinho for Liverpool. Just in terms of the drop-off he had this year. It goes again, we've mentioned it all season with like Klopp's running legs with a midfielder, especially a defensive one. I think Fabinho's are going, and just how bad he was at points this year was a pretty big surprise for me and worth kind of getting this award, even if it's in a negative sense.
Yeah, I had 2. I'll go next, and then Mitch can round us out here. I had a good surprise and a bad surprise. They're both clubs. My bad surprise was Chelsea. What the fuck? That's really all I have to say about that. My good surprise is not a Premier League team, but Dortmund. You know, nobody ever thinks Germany's going to be close, and Dortmund brought it all the way to the last day for a title race against Bayern. Kind of bottled it a little bit there. And by a little bit, I mean a lot of it. All they had to do was win on the last day, and they would have won the title. But taking it all the way to the last day is something that it feels like German teams just don't do anymore with Bayern. So that was cool. It was a pleasant surprise. So we had a little bit of drama, a little bit of action in the Bundesliga this year.
So I kind of took the Josh route. I did a player and a team. For my player positive surprise, I put Trent's midfield run in at the end of the year. I think we speculated a lot if it was going to happen. We kind of sat on the fence that it wasn't going to happen, and then he just shows up and balls out. What an absolute tear he went on at the end of the year. Bangs in, I think, 2 goals, has 6 or 7 assists in straight weeks. Just always in the mix, and I thought that was a really pleasant surprise, seeing him transform into that kind of expanded role. And then my team's surprise, I'm gonna put Newcastle in that. I think, going into the year, I didn't give them enough credit. I thought they made some solid signings, but I thought, kind of like the Nottingham Forest method, if you bring in too many new pieces, it's not going to really work out. And they put out a really impressive side all year long. Best defense in the league. And, pleasant surprise. I had them finishing 8th, and they definitely didn't do that. So,
yeah, I think those are all good shouts. Our next award is Flop of the Season. Pat, why don't you go first with this one?
Oh, it's Mykhailo Mudryk. Easy. He was a bajillion dollars, touted as, stealing him from under Arsenal's nose, just supposed to be this like explosive, dynamic, pacey, like great winger that everybody had seen in like 6 games for Shakhtar, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's gonna be so good. Can't believe Chelsea took him from Arsenal." And he scored like no goals. He had like 1 or 2 assists, maybe. He was awful. He like looked decent in that game against Liverpool. Everyone was like, "Oh, the best is yet to come," and he just stunk it up.
Mm.
The whole back half of the season, you could honestly put any of Chelsea's signings in this slot. Mudryk for me was horrendous. But I guess honorable mention to Cucurella. He is not a $60 million player. He's one of the worst defenders I've ever seen in my life. And I cannot thank Chelsea enough for buying him instead of letting us spend 60 million on that. A prime example that the Brighton system can make anybody look good.
Fair play. Mitch, you had something similar.
Yeah, so I'll do just what Pat said, and I put the entire club of Chelsea as my flop of the season. Mudryk, Cucurella, Koulibaly, fucking Raheem
Fofana.
Sterling. Like,
Hey, you watch your mouth talking about Raza. He was all right.
he was all right.
He was fine, all right? You watch your mouth talking about Raza.
Top to bottom, and then just the bullyisms that we got throughout the year. Just fucking stinker. I'm sorry, Bass. I love you, but Chelsea was the flop of the season. I had no honorable mentions. There was nowhere else to look, in my opinion.
Now let me get a Premier League All-Star game a la Bowley.
I went down the player route as well. Richarlison is mine. Yeah. I think it's a good one. He scored 10 Premier League goals last season. Played about the same amount of games, at least appearances, not starts, because he couldn't even get in the starting 11. Had 1 goal this season, so a 9-goal drop-off. Literally scored a fluke goal against Liverpool. I don't think you can. He's one of Tottenham's most expensive signings. Got the number 9 shirt. I don't think you can find a player in the Premier League that underwhelmed fans and the entire league more than Richarlison did this year.
Fucking take your shirt off some more, Birdman.
Yeah, that's funny. That's never not going to be funny that he took his shirt off, celebrated like a madman, and then they lost the game like 15 seconds later.
I think he qualifies as a flop too because of like his personality and the things he does to wind people.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was horrible. He had a really bad season. That's a good shout for flop of the year. You're well allowed to say that. On the complete opposite side of the coin, let's talk about some very, very good signings. We had a caveat for this one, just so everybody's like, why didn't you say Haaland? We said signing of the season, and it can't be Haaland because, like, no fucking shit. He scored a bajillion goals. So, signing of the season's not named Haaland. Josh, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, I had an interesting one for this. I did have to do some thinking because I think there's a lot of good shouts here, especially like with Newcastle, stuff like that. I did go with one of the Premier teams, and I went with Casemiro in the midfield for United. Aside from his disciplinary record, which took him back, a handful of games, I do think he changed this United team for the better. I think without Eriksen next to him, he'll look even better next year. With maybe someone with a little bit more pace and tracking ability. I do think he adds like a winning element to this Man United team and was part of the reason, they were able to win their first trophy in a little while under Erik ten Hag. So I'm not excited because I'm a Liverpool fan, but interested to see what he'll do next year. I do think he looked really, really sharp, when he was in that team this year and changed them for the better.
I like it.
I would agree with that. I think Casemiro was a good signing. Not my signing of the season, but I do think he's a good signing. Mitch, you can go. I'll close it out.
I took Big Paul again, but not the one you're thinking. I took Joao Paulinho. I thought what he did for Fulham this year in their midfield was incredible. He did put a run in for most yellow cards in the league, but they were incredible tactical fouls, which is an art. And especially in the Premier League for a side like Fulham that a lot of us. Josh thought we're gonna finish last.
I did.
And Pat thought they were finishing 18th. I gave the credit to Fulham coming out of the gate, but I think what Joao Paulinho did to shore up their midfield, distribute the ball like a madman, it really cement himself as one of the better midfielders this season. I thought was a great signing for Fulham.
Yeah, I also think Paulinho is a really good shout. Not as good as this guy though, because my signing of the season was a bargain. Came in really out of nowhere, kind of out of left field. Expected to be fourth choice center back in an unbelievable Manchester City team. 17.5 million euros, and his name is Manuel Akanji, a guy who kind of teetered, admittedly, on the fence of like, is he good? Is he not? Started off really hot, had a little bit of a rocky, middle of the season, but ended up just becoming a mainstay in the City back four, an absolute rock, a title winning, FA Cup winning, Champions League winning side, and ended up making 48 appearances in all competitions. He played 3,800 minutes, a guy that we expected to be a fourth choice center back. Dislodged John Stones from the defense, made Pep need to tinker to fit all of these pieces into a back four. He could play left back, he could play right back, he could play center back, played everywhere, very rarely put a foot wrong, multiple man of the match performances from the back line. I think when you look at how much you paid for a player like Akanji and then how good he was in this City team and how much better he made the players around him, how much faith a manager like Guardiola had playing him out of position and all across a back four speaks volumes about his ability. And when you get a guy like that for so cheap, and Dortmund fans were like, oh, I'm so glad he's gone, and he ends up going on and winning the treble and being such an integral piece of that, I think you just can't overlook any of that. So for me, Manu Akanji, signing of the season that isn't named Haaland.
Lot of shouts here for honorable mention too. I think someone could have said Nick Pope, Ben Mee, Purvis Estupiñán. There's a lot of people we could have went with in that one. And then the final award is Player of the Year, and it seems like we have pretty much a synonymous vote here with maybe a sub shout here from Pat, but Erling Haaland. I mean, there's not really another option here, is there?
Not really. I have 1A, 1B, Haaland and De Bruyne. I think, Haaland scored the goals, but De Bruyne is still City's most important player by a long shot. And you can say, we won the Champions League final without him though, because he got injured and whatever. But who turned up when we needed to against Arsenal? It was De Bruyne and Haaland, who's always there in all of the big games throughout the entire season. It's De Bruyne. He just always seems to turn up when we need him. I'm gonna say De Bruyne to be different, but it's probably Haaland.
Yeah, tough to argue with that one. That's all the awards we had. I think it's time to wrap up season 2 of the Main Stand. What do you guys think?
I'm gonna do the Gareth Bale treatment. I'm just gonna go golf a shit ton.
Golf, the USA, the Main Stand, in that order. Put it on a flag.
Yeah. We'll be communicating this summer too with I think that's where Pat was probably going with his comment of start times for season 3 and stuff like that. We won't be quiet on our socials quite yet, but
we'll be around. We're just summer's in the works, all the players get to take a holiday. So do we. We're going to take a couple months off. We'll probably be back early August, and go from there. See how else we can elevate it. Fingers crossed for more in-person episodes, because I love those. I think they're so much more fun.
True.
But it's just making the drives and stuff like that work. They'll get a good microphone at least, so we all sound good, and I don't have to sit here with these big wireless gaming headphones on to do our episodes with. So it's gonna look like Josh, nice and professional with this microphone up there.
Very true. You'll hear from us though. Don't hesitate to still like, share, and subscribe. To the the podcast on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Maybe we'll do a couple fun videos here this summer, but for the most part, we are going to be taking a nice break. Thanks for the support this season. I think more than anything, we really noticed an uptick this year. I think I would say more regular listeners and everything. So we appreciate it
very much. Yeah, I'll always appreciate everybody who tunes in regularly, shares the podcast, hits us up. Just about the episodes. The texts are read, the messages are read. We always appreciate it. Hopefully, we can be back for season 3 and do some more. Some more cool shit for you guys. And I'll leave you with this. The Manchester's blue.
Don't forget to support the U.S. We still got CONCACAF, Nations League. U.S. play tomorrow against Mexico, 10:30 p.m. Vegas, Paramount Plus. Watch it.
Yeah, you know what to do. All right, boys.
Deuces.
Bye for now.